Hey guys, so this is just my natural look without any makeup on. It does have a little bit of primer on it already though. So this is the base of my look. I just use a little bit of Mary Kay foundation primer. I take about a pea-sized amount because a little bit goes a long way, and just put it all over my face, under my eyes, my forehead, on my neck, just all over to make sure it gets an even amount of primer all over. So right there, I'm showing you where my butterfly rash is for my lupus, and I have a lot of psoriasis scarring right there. So next, I'm going to use the CC cream from Mary Kay. I am not a huge fan of Mary Kay foundation. It's very oily, kind of makes my skin kind of bumpy, doesn't do very good coverage, but it does create a good base for the MAC to stick to on top of the primer. There's me not getting the lid on, but I just put a little bit on there just to create a very thin layer. I am watching The Bachelor, so I apologize for that noise. I thought I could edit that out, but I cannot. Make sure to always blend under your eyes, especially if you're like me and have really bad dark circles or rolls, and always blend down to your neck as well, because if you don't, it creates kind of an uneven skin tone, which you're trying to avoid at this point. So right here I'm using the Sephora Bright Future. It creates kind of another base for the MAC to stick to. It's $20 at Sephora. They'll color match you, and it's a pretty good concealer. One thing I did forget to mention is that to blend outwards, my blemishes, my psoriasis, and my lupus rash go outwards, like horizontal. Some people might have vertical blemishes, or if you have acne, which I have never had, knock on wood, I would blot that area. This is my matte collection. There's me dropping my matte collection. So I'm going to use a darker and a lighter foundation today. If you don't already, go ahead and shake up your foundation. The oil does sit at the top, so it's good to shake it to kind of mix that up, and mine is also almost out, so I have to shake it so it gets to the top so I can get to it. Another thing I might add is if you don't wear eyeshadow or eye primer or any of that, you can blend your foundation on your eyelids and under your eyebrows just to create more of an even look. My eyelids personally are very dry, and you can tell that they are dry. They're very veiny and discolored. So if I don't wear any type of eyeshadow, which I typically do, I always do put excess from my sponge onto my eyes, which I don't know if that's the correct thing to do. Like I said earlier, I don't watch YouTube videos. I've watched maybe 2 in my entire lifetime. I've kind of figured out how to do makeup on my own. So if you do watch YouTube videos and that's incorrect or etc., feel free to tell me, and I will maybe stop doing that. Probably not, but I might. So if you have a regimen that works for you, keep doing you. This is just to show people what I do to cover up my psoriasis and my butterfly rash. Make sure to always go under your eyes, especially for people with autoimmune, because under eyes suck. And if you see me blinking, I put a little bit too much eyelash glue on my right eyelash that morning, and it kept sticking to my bottom eyelash. So as you see, I did not do a great job of blending my neck. That's what I was showing you there. So it's really important to make sure you blend evenly and thoroughly down under your neck. Now, this is incorrect what I'm doing here. I don't know why I did this in this video. It's probably because I was in a rush. But do not blend vertically unless your blemishes go that way. My blemishes are the opposite. They go horizontally. I don't know why I did that. So do not do that if your blemishes are horizontal, or you have a butterfly rash, or your psoriasis is long ways, not, or horizontal, not vertical. I mean, it all blends the same. There, my eyelashes getting stuck again. They all blend the same, but it looks better if you
Looking back on it,
do it
I
the
think
way
for
your
me,
blemishes
I
go.
was really look back in the beginning of this whole journey, and I was really hopeful. And I have to say, when you said you were 22, that really
If you're listening in the
made me feel bad
background, they're talking
because
about Becca and how young she
I think
is
I
and
went
why
this far
Ari
to
sent her
go.
home, which makes me want to
So
cry
you
because
know,
I love Becca and I want her to be at the
it
Bachelorette,
was
but I know
me,
she's not
I wish
going to
that
be.
it
So
had been a little
there's that.
more open to me and had a little more
So
faith
you
in
want to
me
make sure
where
that you blend all your
that
lines together.
it wasn't so
I'm
much
really
where
bad
I
about
would
checking
spend
that.
like
A lot of times I'll have blotches and I'll have
you
to
know,
use my
I
shirt in the car on the way to work
but
to try
I
to
think that
blend them
you're right when you
together.
say that
And I
I'm much
can,
more
or
versed in
you can
chemistry.
use
I think
more
that's
if
the
you want
difference
to
too
a little bit of a
is
heavier
I go in
look,
the morning with my heart.
but I used a
But
very
also
thin layer
it's
because
always
I was going to use a different look that day. So this was just an example video.
time of year for us. And
So
so
next I'm
that's
using
why
the
when we
MAC
talk
Pro
about
Longwear Concealer.
that's why I was
I
talking
love
about
MAC and I love their concealer. It kind of just covers the rest of that dark eye or dark under eyes and those little rolls.
making the right choices
And I use a
without feeling
different foundation
restricted.
brush for that,
And I think that
but
is
you don't
what
have
especially
to.
lifted me was being
I've
logical.
read that you could
But then again, it's like
use
you do have to follow your
little
logic.
triangle
If
patterns
I
and
could
then
if I
blend
could
up
follow
towards your
your
like the top of your
then
ear, which I
redoing
try to
those
do,
last
but I
few
don't
days,
make
I
it
would honestly
an
I
exact
would
line to
say
do so. I just kind of blend that way. And I had just pulled my eyelash off at that point.
and it's just
I've
I
had
don't
a
know,
lot of
it's
eyelash issues that
just
day.
working hard.
Even
So
later in the
doing
day,
the
my
work
eyelash fell off when I was at
and
work,
setting
so
those
that was
intentions
fun.
in the moment.
So,
And
anyways, I'm
so
just blending
it's
down and
hard to
blending
look
up,
back and see
trying to
it
get that to
so
blend with the rest of my
it is sometimes
foundation.
you said
Like I
it's
said, I use a
good
different
to
foundation
do the
brush
second
for
step,
my
but
concealer because my concealer is a little bit lighter.
I know what you did.
So next I'm just going to use a Maybelline powder from Walmart. I'm very particular about using name brand face makeup just because of my circumstances
And
with my skin. But
I
this is just kind of going on top, kind of finishing up the look and kind of
I really hope you
creating
get
a matte finish. I know that there's better powders for that. There is an actual setting powder. This is just a regular makeup powder that some people might just use as their foundation, which I do during the summer if I'm going to the pool and I know it's going to be washed off. But I've literally had this powder since I was in middle school. So um, I don't always use a lot. I just kind of brush it on there and leave it be. And that's